press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello students, welcome back to your social science class. Today we are going to continue and we will wind up the chapter Introduction to Economics. In the previous part, we discussed about what are goods, services, from where the word is derived, why do we really need economics, and what are again called as economic activities. Today we will move into what is called as macro and microeconomics. Now, we have known economics is the study of the economic activities. What are those economic activities? Whatever goods and services that we bring or whatever we do through the income that we get. Alright. Now, because it is very vast, because it is too big, it is divided into two, macro and microeconomics. Okay, microeconomics and macroeconomics. Now, micro means very small, microorganism, isn't it? Micro, what is it? Micro, very small. Now, regarding these points, I'll write it over here. Okay, micro, very small, alright. Then, now this means very small. When it means very small, it is also studying everything. What is everything? All our economic activities at a very small level. All this at a very small level is what microeconomic studies. Now, microeconomics, where do they go? Whatever we do inside our house. How are we buying things for our house? What are we doing inside the household? Okay. Sometimes what we do, now somebody gets a salary. What do they do with their salary is microeconomics. How do they manage their family is microeconomics. So small business firms that are there, what do they do there is microeconomics. Now, in this, how do we make microeconomic studies? How do we make decisions whenever we want certain goods and services? Okay. Now, sometimes we may have very limited resources that are there. With that limited resources, how do we satisfy our needs? How do we satisfy our wants? Is studied here. Now, let me take an example of household. The father may be saying, we'll buy a TV. The mother may be saying, no, we'll buy a laptop. The son may be saying, no, we'll buy a phone. The fourth one may be saying, no, we will not buy all that, we'll buy a video game. Okay, a player to play that. Different wants, can you see? All are gadgets, but different wants. Now they have very limited resource, that is money is very limited. When that money is very limited, how will they satisfy all these wants of bringing a TV, a laptop, a phone and a video player? That time they have to break down things, that breaking down becomes very small, that is microeconomics. Okay. Now, we buy a lot of things to satisfy our wants, isn't it? Now, today I want clothes, tomorrow I want shoes, day after tomorrow I want to eat, after that I want to go somewhere. Never ending process, that will never end. When that never ends, when will that wants satisfy us? When will we stop wanting things? We will never stop wanting things. Okay? Now sometimes we have limited money. Sometimes it is costly, we cannot buy. All these things are studied, okay. How many hours you have to work in order to get that much money. See, some people are paid monthly basis, some are paid daily wages, okay. Sometimes some are paid on contract basis. Now painting, if you do, whatever they have finished for that contract they get. Regular jobs they get month wise, whereas for daily laborers they get daily wages. So different wants alike will also show us how this kind of a distribution is there. When there is a distribution of income also, sometimes some people may get 500 per day, some may be, even they are working on a regular job, they may be paid 800 per day, okay. So that is how. Now these, I want to buy something now, I want to buy 5 things, I have to do what? I have to prioritize. That is, I have to know which is important, which is not important. So whatever individual decisions I am making in order to get maximum satisfaction that I want is studied under microeconomics, okay. Maximum satisfaction from what? From consumption. Now for example, I want to do something to my hair. I want to trim it, I want to give it a nice shape, okay, like the here or somewhere I want to give nice shape. I expect something from them, the salon person there. What is he giving me? He is giving me his service. In turn, what am I doing to him? I am giving my price. From where? From the income that I got. Okay, from the income that I got, I am giving the price to whom? For the service that he has given me. Now that was my want. I wanted to cut my hair. I have trimmed it. I have made something on it. I am satisfied to the most of whatever service he has given to me because I have also paid him. Are you following? Okay. Then when it comes to a business unit or a small office that is there, how do they produce their goods? What kind of services do they give? Now that decides also on how much of production they do, what quality of service they give. Now service, if we see, bus agencies. You want to travel from here to Bangalore or Mumbai, there are buses, okay, private buses, your local buses that are there. Now there are agencies, isn't it, for that, where you go and book your bus. You want to travel to some place, a travel destination, any destination. They give you a package, a tour package, 5 nights, 6 days, 6 nights, 5 days, whatever. They give you an amount there, maybe 12,000, 13,000. Then they will tell you bus service is available, food will be served, whatever they lay down. Those are kind of services that they give, alright. Now, here it also comes under microeconomics, how much of quality service do they give or what kind of good that they, what kind of better good that they give, okay. Then, how they can manage all their production with minimum amount that they have. Sometimes see, now the best example is this lockdown period that was there. People suffered a lot, isn't it? Business people suffered a lot because initial days everything was shut down, especially these bus agencies and other people where traveling was actually needed, where people used to travel a lot. People all stayed back inside their houses, absolutely no traveling. The buses had to stay there, okay, without running anywhere. They had a loss there, isn't it? Now with that minimum little amount of money that they had, how did they survive for all that shows here in microeconomics, okay. Then sometimes the next point is what kind of a price. Now we have to decide on some price, how much we will buy it for. That is determined, or that is said by what kind of an interaction we have with our buyers, okay, and the sellers in the market. Now I am selling something, you are coming to buy from me. What kind of a talk do we have? If you're very rude, no, give me for 30, give me for 40. No, nobody will agree, isn't it? But if we have a nice interaction, then I may agree to make 10 rupee less so that I can give it to you. Alright? So this is how. Interaction is sometimes we mutually accept on the price and then we take it. That all these things deal with microeconomics. First is basic household things where we get maximum satisfaction out of whatever limited sources we have. Second is firms where they provide goods and services, whether they are quality goods and quality service that they provide. Third one is a price that has to be determined will be determined by the interaction of the buyer and the seller. Okay, I'll just put it down for you. Second one is unlimited wants, limited resources. I am writing only side points. Limited resources, maximum satisfaction. With this you must be able to make your sentences, students. Okay, the next one in that was business firms quality goods and services. Alright, then the third one is price determined, the fourth one. Okay, first point is what does microeconomic mean? Then is price determined, price by interaction of buyers and sellers. All this is microeconomics. Moving on to macroeconomics. What is macro? Now, if this is very small, macro means large. Okay? Large. Okay, or means total. Micro is small, macro is large. Alright? Now, here we are studying, let us take the first point. We studied about whom? The individual. Very small, isn't it? We can study one individual. Now, if you see his monthly income and his monthly expenditure, we can figure out what he is trying to do. When it comes to macro, it becomes like a whole country. Can you go to each house and see, now if 4 people are working in the house, can you go and see each person how they are doing, what they are doing? Country has a huge population. So that is all in total, very large sector. Okay, example is country as a whole. Country as a whole, you cannot see, you cannot go very little and then find out, isn't it? You have to go and a general assumption has to be made. Alright. Now, whatever decisions are taken as macroeconomics. However the money is going, how is it going, what is happening, all is taken under macroeconomics. Now, what kind of decisions are done here? How do we collect taxes? How do we give our expenditure on public facilities that we have to do? Any welfare activities, okay? Then promotion of economic growth. That is taxes, if they have to pay taxes. Then if public facilities have to be done, how much money can we spend on it? Public facilities, okay? Then welfare activities, people have to be taught some skills, people have to be taught certain things, people have to be given scholarship, welfare activities for women, children, skill based laborers, okay, all of them. Then When we have certain emergencies, how do we look after? Then promotion of economic growth. How do we promote the economic growth of the country? How do we make our country like a working space for everybody? That will also affect everything that is happening under macroeconomics. Now, this kind of a decision is usually taken by whom? By the government. Decision is usually taken by the government because taxes that are to be paid, public facilities that have to be made, welfare activities that have to be made. Now, microeconomics are studying individual, what he buys, what he sells, okay, but when now if I am this, I'm the seller, okay, I am the seller, I am selling something, I have given you something. Now when there is a buyer, that is somebody who is buying it, the expenditure is individual, isn't it? Whatever I consume and my consumption, the expenditure becomes individual expenditure. That will add to the, see it is like this, take it like this. You are spending, I am spending, he or she is spending, all expenditure is put together, whatever we are consuming, all expenditures put together and it is calculated over here, okay. Simple that statement is. Then we add up all the income of the every individual. When we add the income of all individuals, we come here into macroeconomics. Then, okay, after that, when we add up consumption and the income of all people, then it becomes what is called as a national income. Okay, national income. That is total consumption expenditure. How much money we all people have spent on consuming certain things is called national income. Where is that individual studied? In microeconomics. All people in the microeconomics are brought together and studied together how much they have spent on their consumption, and that in total is put under macroeconomics, which is called as national income. That is the total consumption expenditure. How much money we have spent to consume certain things is called national income. Now, when there is a price rise, that is inflation. Inflation. Inflation and deflation. Deflation is coming down. Inflation is rising high, up above. Okay. When there is inflation or price rise, there is also problem in among the people, isn't it? A problem appears or in the macroeconomics. Now, this also affects the whole economy, the income. Because individually if they are not buying, how can they total it over here? When there is an inflation, we have to understand what is the cause behind that. What is the effect of having that much of rise in price? Then, other problems like unemployment, economic growth and development also have to be studied when this kind of a thing is being studied, because it is affecting the entire nation as whole. Now see, they have given a beautiful example. Microeconomics is studying one tree. Macroeconomics is studying the entire forest. Okay? Alright. Now we will see what our basic economic problems are. How do these problems come? When there are scarcity of resources, that is when our resources are very limited in nature. Scarcity of resources makes it very difficult, or a problem that happens in problem that happens among people, and that time we have to make what? We have to make a choice. We have to make a choice of what we want and choice of what we do not want. So that is both there in micro and macro. Micro, why? Individually we have to decide. Macro, as a country we have to decide. Then, for all these reasons, economists, people who are studying all these economics have given us certain answers to the questions that have been asked. Okay, we'll see those questions. The first question is what you should produce, what to produce. First question, what to produce. Now the society together has to decide what we must produce, what is actually needed for the people, what kind of a good is needed, what kind of services are needed. Then, whether we have to produce food more or we have to produce weapons more, whether we have to spend more on people more or we have to spend on other unnecessary things. We have to think alike. Whether we have to spend on agriculture or industrial goods, whether we have to spend on education or health, we have to spend on machines or consumer goods, we also have to think. We have to draw a line somewhere saying that this is what I want. This is how we have to do. This is the most important thing now. That is, maybe health sector has to be improved. Health sector has to be improved first. Put all the money there. Or divide the money properly into everything so that services and goods together get better. So what to produce? They say we have to ask ourselves as a country as a whole, also we have to ask what we should produce in the country, what is actually needed. Then how to produce those things. Now we can, they say there are different ways to produce whatever things we need, and this depends on what kind of a technology we also use in the process of production. Sometimes we have manual labor, okay, people who are working. Sometimes the machines are working for us. When machinery is there, manual labor is less. What kind of a technology or what kind of equipments do we really use? How much of money can we spend and how do we spend? Do we make people work and give them employment or bring machinery and make people lose their jobs? How to produce is also a question. Alright, now we have to lower the cost of production that is there. That is, production cost should come low, but it should be effective and it should be a nice product or a nice good that is there. That is, it should last long. You should make it so well that it should last long, but your cost of production also should be less. Not that here and there, everywhere you spend. Okay. The third question is for whom you have to produce. Now you have to produce. How to produce, they have said. Whom you have to produce. Now this is like the channels on TV. Now Cartoon Network, if you see, for whom is it put? It's put for children. News channels, the elders in the family are watching. Entertainment, everybody is watching. So they also have their target audience. Children are my target audience for Cartoon Network, Pogo, Disneyland, okay? These channels are for children. Ben 10, okay? All these ways. Earlier it used to come Ben 10. Now I don't know. So they have their target audience. Here, when we are producing goods or we are giving our services, we should know for whom we are producing it. Why do we do it? Unnecessary should we do it? It should be questioned. Okay? When we produce, in what quantity should we produce? If we produce in excess, then will it be a waste or will it be used somewhere? Can you make something else out of it? Should also be thought. Then, now here process of distribution also gets spoiled. When people have nothing to be produced properly, they are distributed here and there just for the sake of money. But the right good doesn't go to the right person. Alright, sometimes we may have to improve the primary health that is there. We may have to encourage our students to not come out of school, let us drop out of school, go to school, study them, okay, study, and then availability of food to people. Now if we are doing availability of food to people, how much should we produce, in what quantity, and where will it go, should be the question. Then, so every society on its own has to decide what kind of resources do we have and what do we make out of these resources. Even if things go scarce, how will we manage it? How will we be able to do certain things? Okay? How will we be able to give services to people, good services to people? Now in the profession of medicine, some charge you very high, but on the other hand there are also certain doctors who don't charge you any fees. I am not saying they should not charge any fees, but they do charge, some charge very bare minimum. Sometimes if you go to clinic, 500, 600, just he has done only this much, okay, seen your ear, seen your eyes and everything. On the other hand, there is another community of doctors who also do the same thing, but give you effective medicines, tell you effective solutions, boost your energy and only charge 100, 150, at the most sometimes 50 also. I have seen a dentist. He will, if you go to him, he will check everything that is there, all your teeth, okay, he will check it, and if it is fine, he will say you go. He will not even charge you a rupee. Only if something has to be done, he will do it. He will say this is the problem and this has to be done. If you obey him and do whatever he says, he will charge, not like 2,000, 3,000 or something like that. Within 500, he will finish all your job. But if it is fine, if you have brushed 2 times every day, then if it's fine and clean and neat, he wouldn't charge you anything. So this is how it is. We as a society have to decide what kind of a service do we give, what kind of goods do we produce. And then when everybody decides together, okay, all resources are put together and planned effectively, that is when our society will become better. That is when our society will become a well-planned society, okay, and everything will be in the favor of well-being of the individuals. When there is well-being of the individual, the country will flourish on its own, the country will shine on its own, okay, and only with that we can make our country stand high, or we can improve the status of our country. Alright students, so this was the lesson, Introduction to Economics. Thank you for listening. We shall meet in the next class with another lesson. Till then I want you to read this. Thank you.